Now, I can't tell you how many times my printer has broken down, and the amount of times I have had a breakdown because of it. But luckily, with the whole corona situation, my printer is no longer needed. However, there is a printer that will come in a lot more use right about now. A biological printer. Much different from the one we have at home, a biological printer allows for instructions for vaccines and stuff to be downloaded from the internet and printed. So now the internet not only has viruses, but also the cures for them. The bioprinter drastically improves our ability to both read and write DNA, while also bringing focus to what is known as biological teleportation. You see, DNA is a lot like a computer. You can take it apart and put it back together, all while developing a stronger understanding for how it works. And like a computer, some scientists have learned how to program and alter DNA to behave in a certain way. But this computer is different. Instead of creating essays, it creates life. It creates cells that can self-replicate. It can create vaccines and medicines. It can create things that were previously impossible. Craig Venter and Hans Smith, recipients of the Nuremberg Prize and the Nobel Peace Prize, were the first to have this vision. Since all aspects of life, from viruses to bacteria to leeches to my ex, are written by the coding of DNA, if one could understand this code, then they can recreate it in any location. This is what was meant by biological teleportation. So Venter and Smith set out to create a synthetic cell, originating from a simple code of DNA on a computer. After the 2003 Human Genome Project, which was an effort to map out the complete genetic blueprint of a human, a revolution was started. Scientists began perfecting and mastering the technique of reading DNA, understanding what all the ATGCs meant. However, others chose to focus on the technique of writing DNA. Much like an author goes to write a book, it starts with simple sentences, or in this case, sequences of DNA. But these sentences are able to become paragraphs and chapters and books of DNA, all with the purpose of creating the instructions for life. A cell is nature's most efficient machine. Over the past 15 years, technology has been developed that sews together those DNA fragments into complete bacterial genomes. This tool is called the Gibson assembly, which is now used in labs around the world for building DNA. However, they didn't stop at the genome. Instead, scientists poured research into finding a way to convert the sequence into an independent cell. They viewed the genome as the code of the cell, but they still required the necessary hardware to help it function fully. Through trial and error, they were able to develop a way to reprogram genomes and even change bacterial species. Genome transplants indicated a shift in the creation of cells from nature to a laboratory. Synthetic cells and DNA are proof that one can pull a complete genome sequence and convert it into the code that forms life. But what's even cooler is that you can buy this synthetic DNA. People can place orders for specific genome sequences and companies will ship it to them, meaning you can get pathogens on Prime. The medical community holds many concerns about the overall safety of this process. This high level of genetic manipulation, while having the potential to provide much societal benefit, also has the potential to do much harm. There are bad guys out there, like evil mad scientists who try to manipulate DNA to mass produce toxins, like an actual supervillain. I mean, Dr. Doofenshmirtz is quaking right now. There are a lot of mixed views on genetic engineering and the overall ethics of it. On one hand, we have all this knowledge and innovation waiting to be implemented into our ever-growing society, but on the other hand, when does this innovation become too much? In some perspectives, these scientists are not doing groundbreaking research, but simply meddling with nature. You see, synthetic technologies will fuel the transformation of economies and industries. They will spark a revolution, but this is because they have the power to do so. They have the power to address major global issues. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Think about it. Plastics made from biodegradable materials, cars fueled by engineered microbes, clothes made from bio-based resources, and so much more. The immense effort poured into creating synthetic cells has made us experts at reading and writing DNA. With all of this knowledge, who knows what we have the ability to accomplish?